This is Jonathan Kahn, and I'm standing in New York City on September 19th, the rainy September 19th, 2016, at the City Hall Park, where they have just unveiled, and you just see right there, the manifestation of the sign of Baal in America. This is the arch that led worshippers of Baal to the temple of Baal in Syria. And this is the template of the Harbinger, that in the last days of ancient Israel, not only did they turn away from God after they were warned, but they were worshiping the god Baal. Baal was the god of their apostasy, the god of their rebellion, the god of their defiance, the god of immorality, the god of their offering up of their children to murder or to the altars of Baal. And here it has been now manifested, a sign of a nation in defiance of God, a nation that once knew God, as ancient Israel did, but now turned away, falling in apostasy, falling in defiance, calling good evil and evil good, promoting immorality, driving God out of its culture, offering up its children, as in about 60 million unborn children. And interesting, because New York City is the capital of abortion in America. This is where it began. And here now the sign of Baal, the god to whom ancient Israel offered up their children. But there's even more. See, in the Harbinger, it wasn't just that they were worshiping Baal, which is what they were doing, but the pattern is something is destroyed by an enemy and they rebuild it in defiance. God allows the destruction, but it's an enemy. In the Harbinger, it was the Assyrians who destroyed the buildings of Israel. It may very well have been also the shrines of Baal included. And the people vowed in Isaiah 9:10, that's the verse in the book, the Harbinger, where it says, the bricks have fallen, but we will rebuild with hewn stone. The sycamores have been cut down, but we will plant cedars in their place. Sign of defiance, the nation saying, we're not going to come back to you, God. We're going to defy you. We're going to come back stronger without you. And we're going to continue. And that's what happened to ancient Israel. It got worse after that first strike, that warning, until it headed years later to judgment. Well, America has followed the same pattern. The Harbinger reveals that the 9 harbingers of judgment that appeared in ancient Israel have now appeared on American soil. But the strike begins, it all begins with 9/11. This enemy strike is allowed on the land, the shaking, the wake-up call. And the people say, we're going to rebuild stronger. Well, they are rebuilding Ground Zero, the place that was destroyed in 9/11. But what about this arch here? It's not just that this is an arch of Baal or arch that led to the temple of Baal that's being recreated in America. But this is a rebuilding. This is an act of defiance. This is a rebuilding of something that was destroyed. This arch was destroyed. Who was it destroyed by? It was destroyed by ISIS. And ISIS, and you, for those who have heard me speak before this arch came up, ISIS is the incarnation, the reincarnation of the Assyrians. The Assyrians were the first terrorists. They are the fathers of all terrorists. And they were Middle Eastern. They were in the land, their core land was the land of now Syria and Iraq. That's the core of ISIS. The Assyrians, they were known for mutilation, for particularly decapitation, beheading, and publicizing the beheadings. ISIS is the reincarnation of the Assyrians. They likely have Assyrian blood. It's the same region, and this is from Syria. And so it's not only that it's the Arch of Baal, or the arch that led to the Temple of Baal, but it's also, this is an act of rebuilding what the Assyrians destroyed, exactly what the Harbinger and the Temple of the Harbinger is. And when we just witnessed a ceremony beforehand, and what was said was, this putting this up is an act of defiance, an act of defiance. And it was said, we will rebuild, the same words as in Isaiah 9:10. Another speaker linked this, where the city of Syria, where this stood, with America and New York City today, the same Temple of the Harbinger. So not only is it is the sign of Baal, it is also the sign of the Harbinger, the sign of Isaiah 9:10. We will rebuild what was destroyed. 9/11 came, it was the terrorists, and they also are heirs to Assyria, and I made that point in the Harbinger. ISIS is even more so. So you have a double thing going on here, and so not only the sign of Baal, but the sign of a nation that was warned by God, in its apostasy, but instead of turning back, responded by shaking its fist and saying, we will rebuild, we will come back stronger. A nation in defiance, which is a warning of a nation heading, as through the gates of Baal, to judgment.